Welcome to the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show.
Cup of Joe Wrestling Show?
With Joey Harris. A podcast for the wrestling fan on the go. So take your favorite beverage of choice and join Joey as he takes a look at some of the biggest shows on the WWE Network.
Welcome to the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show. I am your host, Joey Harris, and we are broadcasting from makeshift studios in the shadow of South Central Virginia. You can follow the show on Twitter at Cup of Joe Pod. Email the show at cupofjoewrestlingshow@gmail.com. If you like the show, please leave a review on iTunes. It really helps people to find the show, and I would really appreciate it. Folks, first of all, it took me over 3 years. I was so worried it was going to happen before then, but it took me over 3 years. Last week, finished the show on Wednesday, uploaded it, all ready to go, went live on Thursday, woke up Thursday morning, I had a blasting headache. So I called out of work. I hate to do that, but I couldn't function at work. Took some medicine, went back to bed. I had to get up about 10 o'clock. My wife's class, she's a teacher, had a pizza party, and I had to deliver the pizzas. So we had pre-ordered them, so I picked up the pizzas, I picked up the breadsticks that they got, delivered them to her school, stayed for a few minutes. I was feeling better by that time. Came back home. On my way back home, I finally get around to playing the episode, and it's an episode from like 3 weeks ago. Both 2016 shows, and I labeled it 2016 something and just took the first one that I saw, happened to be the old show. Got home, replaced the MP3, re-uploaded it. So if you are one of those people who didn't get my mea culpa on social media about it, if you download last week's show, the correct video is up there. Embarrassing, but like I said, it took me 3 years to finally make that mistake. Had a great weekend, went to my in-laws. They live at a lake here in Virginia. Went to Easter Sunday church service Sunday morning, went back to their house, and they had an adult Easter egg hunt with adult Easter eggs, different things in them, money, lottery tickets, alcohol, and a big potluck luncheon on Sunday afternoon. So that was really good and allowed me to have some unwinding time, which I really needed. We all need those times in our lives where you just unwind and let yourself relax. So that was my weekend. Hope yours was good. I am making my way through something that I'm reading. I'm making my way through Michael Connelly's bibliography. He does the Harry Bosch books. So I've reached Darkness More Than Night, which I believe is from 2001. So still a little ways behind there, but he's just such a great writer. Today we look at When Worlds Collide from ECW. When Worlds Collide was presented by ECW on May the 14th, 1994 from the ECW Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. There were 1,558 in attendance. We start out with our intro. Our first match, The Rockin' Rebel with Jason versus Tommy Dreamer. Dreamer comes out, and this is early Dreamer. Clean cut, sparkly ring attire. The bell rings and Rebel puts his finger on Dreamer's chest right away. Dreamer does the same, and they are face to face yelling at each other. Rebel offers a handshake and then tries to be cute by switching hands. So Dreamer slaps him and they lock up. Rebel gets Dreamer up against the ropes, but Dreamer reverses an Irish whip, misses a clothesline attempt, and they go back and forth in the center of the ring. Dreamer hits a nice spinning kick on Rebel. Rebel chopping Dreamer in the corner. Dreamer comes out of the corner and Rebel gets him in another corner and chops him. They each reverse and Dreamer corner whips Rebel and hits a corner shoulder tackle, driving his shoulder into Rebel's midsection. A suplex and an elbow drop gets a 2 count for Dreamer. Dreamer rakes the eyes. He follows that up with a scoop slam and a knee drop. Dreamer with a front face lock, so Rebel backs Dreamer into a corner. He breaks the hold, gets the corner whip, but Dreamer moves on the charge and gets an arm drag into an armbar on Rebel. Rebel comes back with an Irish whip, and Dreamer responds with a modified sunset flip for a 2 count. Rebel puts Dreamer on the top rope, and Jason hits Dreamer when Rebel distracted the referee. Dreamer takes off after Jason, only to get cut off by Rebel. Rebel with a wicked-looking corner whip. Rebel gets a 1 count. Dreamer shifts his weight on a belly-to-back suplex to get a 1 count. Dreamer hits a low blow and a DDT. Dreamer goes up top for a splash, but Rebel moves. Rebel hits a leg drop to the area between Dreamer's legs. I cleaned that up there for you. He gets a 2 count. Dreamer reverses an Irish whip, but drops his head, and Rebel hits a swinging neck breaker. Another leg drop and a 2 count for Rebel. Rebel with a spine buster, but looks to have hurt his knee. He gets another 2 count. Rebel with an Irish whip, but Dreamer comes back with a Thez press to get the pin. Jason and Rebel argue in the ring after the match. Jason pays off Rebel, but it looks like an uneasy alliance. ECW Television Championship match. Mikey Whipwreck versus 911 with Paulie Dangerously. Whipwreck comes out to a Mikey chant. I was really getting into ECW at this time, and man, they had done the right thing with Mikey. A few weeks after this, I believe it was, they do the loser video about Mikey wanting to give up and say, like, just go ahead and pin me, and then he keeps winning. Just great stuff. The bell rings and 911 is stalking Whipwreck, who is backing away from 911. 911 grabs Whipwreck and choke slams him. Instead of covering Whipwreck, 911 choke slams him again. 911 grabs Whipwreck to choke slam him again, and the referee tells him not to do it, so he grabs the referee. He choke slams them both and gets disqualified. 911 throws the belt on Whipwreck and choke slams the referee again. Paulie administers the last rites to the referee. The fans yell one more time, so 911 grabs the referee again and choke slams him. Paulie and 911 then leave the ring. A ring crew member helps Whipwreck to the back. Kevin Sullivan with Woman versus Jimmy Snuka with Hunter Q. Robbins III. This match makes you feel bad about life if you think too deeply about it, so I wouldn't if I were you. Snuka attacks Sullivan as soon as he comes through the ropes, and then the bell rings. Snuka chops Sullivan out of the ring and then follows him outside. Sullivan then starts throwing chairs at Snuka. A fan hands Sullivan a frying pan and he hits Snuka with it. He then throws another chair at Snuka. Sullivan then grabs the ring hammer and hits Snuka between the legs with it. Back in the ring, Sullivan has his spike out and puts it in Snuka's throat. Sullivan chops Snuka several times before throwing him back outside. Sullivan grabs a metal crutch from a fan and hits Snuka with it. Sullivan then grabs some rope and chokes Snuka with it. He then hits Snuka with the crutch again. Sullivan then gets back in the ring and gets Snuka up on the apron. Snuka blocks a shot and headbutts Sullivan. Snuka chopping Sullivan in a corner. Sullivan corner whipped, but gets his boot up on the charge. Sullivan chopping Snuka down, but becomes distracted when the Sandman comes out and takes Woman back to the dressing room. Robbins trips Sullivan and holds his leg for Snuka to get the pin. Sullivan grabs Robbins as he and Snuka were leaving and throws Robbins into the ring. Sullivan grabs Robbins' cane and hits him between the legs with it. He rips off Robbins' pants and hits him with the cane again and stomps Robbins. He then starts chasing the photographers at ringside. Singapore caning match. The Sandman with Woman versus Tommy Cairo with Peaches. This was a topical match because of the Michael Fay case of an American sentenced to receive 6 lashes with a cane from vandalizing cars in Singapore. Sandman comes to the ring with Woman and she lights a cigarette for him. The loser will receive 6 lashes. Sandman tries to grab the cane before the match. The bell rings and they circle each other. Sandman with the kick to the stomach and Cairo responds with the belly-to-belly suplex. Sandman goes after Peaches, who is up on the apron. He grabs Peaches by the wrist. That brings Cairo over and he gives Sandman another belly-to-belly suplex. Cairo with an Irish whip and a backdrop. Sandman rolls to the outside to regroup. Cairo comes out after Sandman and hits him with a double axe handle from the apron. Cairo then suplexes Sandman on the floor. He then throws Sandman back into the ring and hits him with a double axe handle from the top rope. That only gets a 2 count. Double underhook suplex to Sandman by Cairo. Sandman kicks out before the 1 count. Sandman comes back with an Irish whip and a back elbow as Joey Styles takes shot at the WWF and WCW on commentary. Sandman looks at Peaches before hitting Cairo with another suplex. Sandman cannot get the pin, so he hits Cairo with a scoop slam. Sandman goes up top and drops an elbow on Cairo. It takes him a minute, but Sandman hits Cairo with a pile driver. Sandman choking Cairo instead of covering him. Sandman with an Irish whip drops his head too early, and Cairo knees him in the face. Cairo follows that up with a brutal-looking clothesline to Sandman. Cairo with an Irish whip and a power slam to Sandman. Cairo with a DDT. That brings Woman into the ring after Cairo, and Peaches into the ring after Woman. The fans and Joey Styles cheered the cat fight going on. Cairo up and grabs Woman, allowing Peaches to score the pinfall on Sandman. Sandman now gets cane per the pre-match stipulation. The referee gives Peaches the cane, and Cairo grabs Sandman in her front face lock so that she can hit him. She pulls his pants down part way and starts caning Sandman. She gets 2 shots in before Woman comes in and throws powder in Peaches' eyes. Cairo drops Sandman and goes after Woman. Woman backs away and Sandman low blows Cairo. Sandman grabs the cane and starts caning Cairo with it. He gets Cairo down and inadvertently hits Peaches in the head as he is swinging one time. Both Peaches and Cairo are down as Sandman canes Cairo repeatedly. Sandman then gives Woman the cane and hits Cairo a few times while Sandman grabs Peaches and holds her for Woman to hit a few times. Sandman then hits Cairo a few more times and then throws the cane down. Sandman and Woman leave while officials check on Cairo and Peaches. Cairo up and bleeding from the forehead as he checks on Peaches and carries her back to the dressing room. The Pitbull with Jason versus the Tasmaniac. This is early Taz before he became the Taz from Prime ECW. John Pee Wee Moore is the referee, and when he is announced, 911 comes back out and grabs him by the throat again and choke slams him. Paulie tells 911 to stop, but he choke slams Moore again. The other referees carry Moore to the back as the fans chant 911. John Finnegan is now the referee for the match. Jason and Pitbull out first, and Taz costs Pitbull the TV title just the night before against Mikey Whipwreck. Taz comes to the ring and gets attacked by Pitbull as soon as he gets in the ring, and the two trade blows in the center of the ring. Taz headbutts Pitbull to the outside and then follows him out there. He runs Pitbull into the guardrail and then over it into the crowd. Taz goes and hits Jason a couple of times before going out after Pitbull. He hits Pitbull with forearms and chairs before throwing him back over the guardrail to ringside. He runs him into a ringside table and throws a chair at him. Pitbull grabs another chair as Taz was swinging it and hits Taz with the chair. Pitbull hits Taz on the back with the chair again. He then rolls Taz back into the ring. Pitbull hits a belly-to-belly suplex on Taz. He only gets a 2 count. He gets a rear chin lock on Taz as a Pitbull chant goes out. Taz gets to his feet and gets a takeover on Pitbull to get out of the move. Pitbull comes back with a poke to the eyes. Pitbull follows that up with a low blow. The Pitbull chant goes out again. Then "Where's your belt?" and a Mikey chant go out to torment Pitbull. Pitbull with an Irish whip and a clothesline to Taz. He gets a 2 count. Pitbull with a nerve hole and tells Finnegan to ask Taz if he wants to give up. The fans chant Mikey again and Pitbull tells them to shut up. Taz makes his way to his knees and then to his feet and breaks the hold. Taz then misses a clothesline. Pitbull comes back with a back elbow to knock Taz down. He then yells at the crowd, who respond with "Where's your belt?" Pitbull with a shot to Taz and a scoop slam. He then drops a knee on Taz. He then starts choking Taz on the bottom rope. Finnegan gets him away, and they start to argue over what Pitbull was doing. While they are arguing, Jason sneaks over and starts choking Taz. Pitbull with a leg lock submission hold on Taz. Taz fighting to get out of the hold. Pitbull breaks the hold and works over the knee of Taz. He hits a snapmare and a leg drop on Taz. He only gets a 2 count and gets Taz in a headlock. Taz gets to his feet, still in the headlock. He breaks the hold and Pitbull grabs Taz by the hair to drive him back down to the mat. Pitbull with some fist drops to Taz. Pitbull with a side headlock and Taz hits him with a suplex to break the move. Taz follows that up with an Irish whip and a clothesline. Taz goes up top, but Pitbull gets to his feet and runs over and hits Taz with an enziguri to knock him off the turnbuckle to the floor. Pitbull goes outside and throws Taz back into the ring. Pitbull with a back kick to Taz to knock him to the floor. Taz ducks a clothesline attempt and hits Pitbull with a T-bone suplex. Taz runs Pitbull into a turnbuckle a couple of times and then an overhead belly-to-belly suplex. Jason gets up on the apron. Taz grabs Jason and suplexes him inside. Referee John Finnegan checks on Jason and Pitbull takes advantage and hits Taz with his chain and pins Taz. Pitbull then comes over and helps Jason out of the ring and carries him to the back. 8-man elimination tag match. Shane Douglas, Mr. Hughes, and the Public Enemy versus JT Smith and the Bruise Brothers. Hawk was supposed to be in the match but had to withdraw due to a lingering knee issue. Douglas's team attacks Smith and the Bruise Brothers in the aisle as they come out. They brawl in the aisle towards the ring. Smith in the ring with Hughes and hitting him with a series of punches. Douglas comes in and grabs Smith so that Hughes can punch him. One of the Bruise Brothers comes in and he and Hughes exchange blows. Hughes drives the Bruise Brothers into the corner and Rocco Rock tagged in. The other Bruise Brothers in to help his twin, but the referee gets him out, allowing the heels to double team the other twin. Styles identifies the twin in the ring as Ron, so we're going with that. Rock gets him down on his knees in the corner and is punching him. Ron fights back and puts Rock in a front face lock, and Rock tags Douglas in. He hits Ron with a running knee lift. Douglas then tags Hughes in and holds Ron for Hughes to hit. Hughes kicks Ron. Hughes then tags Grunge in and holds Ron for Grunge to hit. They double Irish whip and clothesline Ron. Grunge punching Ron, who is coming back with punches of his own. Rock comes in to go Don in, and as the referee was getting him out, the heels beat up Ron some more. Douglas tagged back in. He hits Ron with left and right hands, and Rock tagged back in. He hits Ron with a shoulder block in the corner, while Douglas holds him. Rock then drags Ron's head across the top rope. Ron comes back and gets Rock in a corner and hits him with a series of knees in the corner. Ron with a corner whip, but Rock moves on the charge. Rock grabs Ron by the hair and brings him back to the heel's corner, and Hughes tagged back in. He starts kicking Ron in the chest several times while the other heels hold him. Ron fights back and knocks the heels down that are on the apron. Rock down. Grunge down. Hughes with an Irish whip and a drop kick. It wasn't pretty, but he hit it. Hughes brings Ron back to the heel's corner and tags Douglas in. Hughes and Grunge hold Ron for Douglas to kick. He gets Ron down after attacking the knee and gets a spinning toe hold on. Don comes in and clotheslines Douglas to break the hold, and the referee gets him right back out. Grunge comes in and starts dropping knees on Ron. Ron gets an opening and rolls Grunge up for a 2 count. Grunge gets Ron back down, and Hughes tagged back in. He stomps away on the leg. Hughes goes and punches Don on the apron and then drives Ron back to the heel's corner. Douglas tagged in and he rakes Ron's eyes and hits a snapmare. Douglas then puts a single crab on Ron. Rock grabs Douglas's hand for extra leverage. Don comes in, but the referee sends him back out. Douglas and Rock keep changing places as the referee is tied up with the faces as they try to come in to help or complain about what the heels are doing. Ron kicks at Rock, trying to break the hold. He does break it and starts choking Rock by the ropes, and Douglas comes down the apron and kicks Ron. Rock gets the single leg crab back on. Heels goad the faces in, so Grunge and Rock can switch places. The crowd getting angry at the heels. Rock tagged back in and drops an elbow on the leg. Ron powers Rock over and gets a 2 count on a cradle. The heels goad the faces in, and Douglas grabs Ron by the leg and puts a leg lock on as the Public Enemy is enticing the crowd. Ron fights and finally kicks Douglas off. Douglas with a standing drop kick to Ron. Douglas follows that up with a flying head scissors. Douglas goes to do another head scissors, and Don hits him with a clothesline from the apron. Don tags in, and he grabs Douglas. Don comes in and is cleaning house on the heels. Don with an Irish whip that knocks Douglas into Grunge to knock Grunge off the apron. Don then clotheslines Douglas. Don stomps Douglas and then scoop slams him. Don then drops a series of elbows to Douglas. Don with an Irish whip and a big boot to Douglas. Don with a series of right hands to Douglas. Douglas tags Rock, and Don grabs him and brings him on over the top rope. Grunge and Smith both tagged in. Smith gets Grunge down with a series of right hands, and Rock comes in and clips Smith from behind to knock him down. Grunge grabs the injured leg and starts working on it. Grunge hyperextends the leg, and Rock tagged back in. He continues to work on the leg. Smith gets to the ropes and uses them to try to get back to his feet. Rock kicks Smith's legs to knock him back down as soon as he gets up. Rock then does it again. Ron throws a chair into the ring. Rock drops some elbows on Smith and gets a leg lock on Smith. Smith with some forearms to try to get out of the move. Rock stomps Smith and tags Hughes in. Hughes goes up to the second rope and splashes Smith on the leg. He then stomps the leg several times. He then puts Smith in a leg lock. The crowd with a JT chant as Smith tries to avoid submitting or getting pinned. Rock tagged in and hit Smith with a headbutt. Rock scoop slammed Smith and Grunge tagged in. Rock holds Smith on the ground and Grunge splashes him. Now all 7 in the ring. The referee gets everyone not tagged in out, and Rock hits Smith with a snapmare. Rock continues to work the leg of Smith over. Hughes tagged in as the referee keeps the faces from coming in. Hughes scoop slams Smith. Hughes goes up top, but misses the splash when Smith moves. Ron and Douglas both tagged in, and Ron gets an Irish whip and a big boot on Douglas. Rock comes in and gets a big boot. Hughes and Don both come in, and Hughes Irish whipped and backdropped by Ron. Rock comes in, and Ron throws him out to the floor. Rock back in the ring as Smith tagged in, and Rock immediately takes Smith down, and Styles says it made no sense to tag Smith in. Grunge comes in as well, and the Public Enemy hyperextends both legs. All the other wrestlers had left the ringside area to fight in the crowd, presumably. Douglas, Hughes, and the Bruise Brothers have been counted out, which isn't something you see every day in ECW. They are all still fighting in the crowd. The crowd is paying attention to what is happening outside instead of what's happening in the ring, where Rock is pummeling Smith and covers him for a 2 count. Rock with another 2 count as the other participants brawl back towards the ring. Rock snaps Smith over, and he lands on his injured knee as Barbara Ortiz announces that the other wrestlers have been counted out. Rock tells Smith to get up and then clips Smith's leg when he does. Grunge tagged in and goes up top while Rock holds Smith on the ground. Grunge splashes Smith. Grunge pulls Smith to the side of the ring and smashes his leg on the apron. He then grabs a chair and smashes the knee with it. Smith tries to crawl away, and as he does, Rock comes in and crashes down on the knee. Grunge grabs Smith by the leg and drags him over to the heel's corner and tags Rock in. He drops elbows on the injured knee. Rock puts the spinning toe hold on, and Smith kicks him off. Unfortunately, he kicked him towards his own corner, so Rock tags Grunge in. He comes in and drops an elbow on Smith. Rock back in and again goes for the spinning toe hold. Into the figure 4. Smith fighting hard not to give up. Smith trying to turn the move over. Grunge grabs Rock's hand to stop the momentum, and Smith back on the mat. Smith goes to turn it over, and once again Grunge grabs Rock's hand to stop the momentum. Smith screams to the referee that he is not going to give up. Smith finally reverses the hold, and Rock screams and gets out of the hold quickly. Rock up and clotheslines Smith. Rock up and arguing with the fans. Smith comes up behind Rock and pushes him into Grunge to knock Grunge off the apron, and Smith rolls up Rock to pin him. Grunge comes in and clotheslines Smith. Rock gets up on the apron and grabs Smith for Grunge to hit. Grunge with a big running forearm. He goes for another one, and Smith ducks, and Grunge hits Rock instead to knock him off the apron. Smith rolls Grunge up to pin him and win the match. Rock comes in and attacks Smith, hitting him repeatedly in the leg. Public Enemy with a double suplex to Smith. Public Enemy then leave the ring as the fans taunt them. Main event: Sabu and Bobby Eaton with Paulie Dangerously versus Terry Funk and Arn Anderson. 911 comes out with Eaton, Sabu, and Dangerously. Paulie grabs the mic and introduces Sabu and Eaton. Funk and Anderson get a tremendous reaction when they come out. Eaton and Anderson are contracted WCW wrestlers at this time. The bell rings, and Funk and Sabu start the match. Eaton comes in, and he and Sabu start to both go for Funk, so he bails out to the floor. Sabu rolls to the outside and starts hitting Funk with forearms. Sabu gets Funk back in the ring and hits him with a corner clothesline. Funk falls down, and Sabu covers him for a 2 count. Sabu attacks Funk again and drops a knee on him for a 2 count. Sabu follows that up with a side headlock. Sabu brings Funk over to the corner, and Eaton tagged in. Eaton with some right hands to Funk, who swings back wildly on Eaton. Eaton clotheslines Funk over the top rope. Eaton comes out after Funk and hits him with an elbow. Funk attacked by both heels on the outside as Sabu kicks him, and Eaton throws a chair at him. Anderson comes around the ring to drive Eaton away with a chair. Sabu grabs Funk and dumps him over the top rope onto a table, and Funk goes through the table. Anderson comes around and checks on Funk. Eaton comes around and hits Funk with a chair as the referee was getting Anderson back to his corner. Sabu goes out and throws Funk back into the ring and smashes a chair into Funk's head. Sabu puts Funk in the corner, hits him with the chair again, then sets the chair up and runs and hits a dive onto Funk off of the chair. Eaton tagged in and hits Funk with some right hands. He then runs Funk into a turnbuckle. Funk comes back with a thumb to the eyes. Both Sabu and Anderson tagged in. Anderson takes Sabu down with a single leg and attacks the leg of Sabu with knee drops. Anderson then points at Eaton and tells him that he wants him. Sabu tries to attack Anderson, and Anderson knocks him down with a straight left hand. Anderson with a scoop slam and a knee drop to Sabu. He then knocks Eaton off the apron with a left hand. He throws Sabu into the corner and tells Eaton to tag in. Instead, Funk comes over and grabs Eaton, and they start fighting on the outside as Anderson drags Sabu along the top rope. Sabu thrown to the outside. Anderson brings Eaton in and does the figure 4 on him. Paulie hits Anderson to break the hold as Funk comes in and sets a piece of the broken table up against the ropes and pile drives Eaton through it. Eaton gets to his corner and tags Sabu in, and Anderson slingshots Sabu in over the top rope. Anderson scoop slams Sabu and goes up top, but gets caught, and Sabu drops kick Anderson off the top rope to the floor. Funk in and scoop slams Sabu. Funk goes up top and moonsaults off, but Sabu moves out of the way. Eaton counters an Anderson pile driver attempt on the outside with a backdrop. Sabu with a leg drop to Funk on the inside for a 2 count. Sabu hits a moonsault on Funk for another 2 count. Funk comes back with a powerbomb for Sabu for a 2 count. Funk then hits a neck breaker on Sabu for another close 2 count. Funk with a DDT to Sabu. Funk up and swings at Eaton on the apron, and they start to fight in the corner. Anderson in, and he grabs Sabu and brings him down to the mat by the throat. Anderson goes to cover, but the referee says he's not the legal man, and Sabu gets his knees up as Anderson tries to crash down on him. Funk headbutts Sabu, and then Funk falls to the outside. Sabu launches himself over the top rope onto Funk. Anderson comes over and hits both Eaton and Sabu with a chair. Anderson then runs Sabu into a ring post. Anderson then tagged in. He gets hit with several shots and a drop kick from Sabu. Sabu then hits a moonsault on Anderson, but doesn't cover. Eaton tagged in. He slams Anderson and goes up top and hits the Alabama Jam on Anderson. Funk breaks up the pin attempt and drags Eaton to the outside. Sabu comes in and kicks Anderson and puts a headlock on Anderson. He slams Anderson and does a rolling bomb over the top rope onto Anderson. Sabu then hits a slingshot moonsault on Anderson as Eaton and Funk brawl towards the back. Sabu gets a 2 count. Anderson up, and Sabu hitting him with his right hands and kicking him. Sabu throws Anderson to the outside and hits him with a forearm to the back. He runs Anderson into a barricade, but Sabu misses a double axe handle from the apron when Anderson moves. Anderson gets Sabu back in the ring and hits the DDT. He signaled that he's going to do it again. He hits the second one. They then show Terry Funk climbing up towards the Eagle's Nest. Eaton is up there as well, and they are brawling. Anderson hits Sabu with another DDT. Funk hits a pile driver on Eaton in the Eagle's Nest. Back in the ring, Anderson hits Sabu with a spine buster. Funk climbs down to the aisle and gets attacked there by the Public Enemy. Anderson comes to his partner's aid by grabbing a chair and running the Public Enemy off. Anderson brings Funk back to the ringside area. He rolls Funk back in, and then the Public Enemy attack Anderson on the outside, and Sabu attacks Terry Funk on the inside. Sabu gets a spinning toe hold on Funk. Funk grabs Sabu and rolls him up for a 2 count. Sabu goes back to the spinning toe hold as Funk starts punching Sabu to get out of the move. Sabu lets go and goes outside to get a chair as Funk collapses after trying to stand on his leg. Sabu hits Funk with the chair, but then Sabu is grabbed from behind and held by Anderson. Funk grabs the chair, but Sabu ducks and Anderson gets hit with the chair instead. Funk then turns and hits Sabu several times with the chair and puts the spinning toe hold on Sabu. Sabu then hits Funk with the chair. Funk holds on to the spinning toe hold, so Sabu hits him again to try to break the hold. Sabu hits Funk in the back of the knee to knock him down, and Anderson comes in and grabs the chair from Sabu. Anderson then turns and nails Funk in the legs with the chair several times. Funk trying to get up, but falls down again. Sabu puts Funk in a half crab, and Funk finally gives up. Paulie taunts Funk after the match. They cut to Paulie paying off Public Enemy and cutting a promo on Funk, and wondering who Funk is because he refuses to quit wrestling. Funk says, "Who are we? We're the Front Brothers," as they fade to black. Final thoughts. This was a good show, and it's going to set up Hostile City Showdown. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TheJoyHairs. You can support the show at paypal.me/cupofjoepod. Every little bit helps, folks. No amount is too little, and no amount is too big. Thank you for joining me this week. This is Joy saying so long from the heart of Virginia.
The Cup of Joe Wrestling Show is a production of Baby Kangaroo Media.